No disease defies our human experience like addictions. It challenges us at every level of our humanity, our mind, body, and spirit. It is a life sentence in which we can never be free from. All the therapies at this time aim to control it. There is no cure. It devastates the victim, families, and the community. It is no wonder that people seek some hope and opportunity to confront this medical tornado. Since Western medicine has limited options, people explore health's outer boundaries to find some answer to this confounding disease. This search is where Ibogaine comes in. In our previous video on ayahuasca, we explored how science is beginning to respond to the possibility that the mind is more plastic regarding drug addictions than previously thought. That psychedelics might help one to circumvent the repetitive cycles of cravings so typical in addiction. Although the studies are just beginning for ayahuasca, the research into a psychedelic called Ibogaine is already well underway, namely regarding its ability to overcome addictive behavior. Ibogaine is the name of the principal active component in the roots of tabanate, a shrub native to West Central Africa. For centuries, the pygmies of Africa have dug up the roots and ingested it for its mind-bending effects. They prepare these roots in two common ways. The pygmies have the outer bark removed and ground into a powder, or boil and infuse in water as a drink. This process extracts the two most common chemical compounds in the roots, ibogaine and noribogaine. At lower doses, studies have reported people experiencing nausea and gastrointestinal distress. Traditionally, it has been used for alertness and the ability to resist hunger and thirst. At higher doses of 4 to 25 milligrams per kilogram of body weight, people begin to experience waking dreams and hallucinations, which are the hallmark feature of psychedelics. Like ayahuasca, the indigenous people interpreted that experiences from the iboga root are a way to connect themselves to their ancestors, a desire to partake in a shared experience which transcends their present time and place. For centuries, the Bwiti religion in West Central Africa has been serving its initiates with large amounts of iboga root extract as an assessment to see whether new aspirants would be able to see the group's original ancestors. For this reason, they associate the plants with death and the land of the dead. Initiates to the Bwiti religion, which had taken iboga root, have been reported to completely dissociate from their surroundings, mouthing words only their gods could understand. How did curing addictions become associated with the dead and such a colorful past? The current research is in response to testimony from self-medicating drug addicts in the late 1900s who reported a reduction of withdrawal symptoms and cravings for opiates and cocaine upon taking Ibogaine. The currently theorized mechanism of action for Ibogaine appears on the surface to be very similar to other psychedelics, involving the activation of serotonin 5-HT2A receptors. However, a comprehensive model to explain all the effects of Ibogaine has still not been available as of 2020. No other classical psychedelic has had so many anecdotal or clinical reports of addiction craving benefits. In laboratory studies where animals were trained to be dependent on a drug, the Ibogaine significantly reduced their cravings. A systematic research review study led by Dos Santos in 2017 showed that human drug users also had significant increases in abstinence behavior and intent after the administration of Ibogaine. However, their team also noted that the quality of the research needs to be improved. Most studies conducted before 2017 were not double-blind. Both the subject and experimenter knew they received Ibogaine. It could influence the objectivity of the results. In a double-blind experiment, only some of the recipients will receive the active substance. In contrast, others will receive a similar-looking pill that has no active ingredient. Dos Santos and colleagues cite reports of Ibogaine being associated with death in subjects when administered concurrently with other drugs like heroin. Safety has also been a considerable concern of researchers. In a 2016 systematic review titled "How Toxic is Ibogaine?", Dutch researchers found credible Ibogaine mechanisms to interact dangerously with other drugs. They also found that under specific circumstances, by itself could harm the body. They concluded that the lack of scientific knowledge makes the current use of Ibogaine too great of a danger to recommend. More research is needed to ensure that as the soul passes from the living world to that of the dead, the body does not also. In our next video, we will explore our next psychedelic in our series, ketamine.